podcast. Big Mex here with Jamie.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Hello.
Whatever. In store. Look at me already. Like I'm waiting.
Well, what's in store?
This is what's in store. We have Carl Hartwig.
Yes.
From Zia here on the Sahara store. If you're in Vegas, I'm just gonna say Zia is my favorite store of anything here in town, and I love it. I go there. I try to go as much as I can because when I go, I leave broke. That's my thing. But you're here to help us promote Record Store Day, which is one of my favorite holidays. Have you ever been to Record Store Day?
No, this is actually going to be my first Record Store Day that I can actually make it out, and I cannot wait to go. I'm excited for this.
So what's for the ones that aren't familiar with Record Store Day, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, Record Store Day is really a celebration of the indie record store. And it was started, I believe, 7 years ago. Turns out one of the guys who works for Zia, our buyer, he was involved in the creation of Record Store Day.
Oh, really?
Originally.
That's pretty cool.
And it was really just to put out a few exclusive vinyls to celebrate what we're all about, which is record stores. Mm-hmm. And so far, it's been extremely successful, and it keeps getting bigger every year.
I have to leave the house earlier and earlier every year just to get in line. And every year that I leave earlier, I'm still like 10, 15 people behind. So I'm going to have to leave like double early just so I can make sure that we're going to be there in time. What are some of the? I mean, I know a couple pieces that I'm looking for. I'm going to try to get the No Life Till Leather cassette from Metallica and the Stone Sour covers album. I think those are the two big popular ones that's out this year. What are some of the other ones that you guys?
Well, so far there's so many of them. It's hard for me to keep track of all of them.
Yeah, no, there's a ton of them. Yeah.
The good thing that we have going on this year is we have a Zia exclusive for the second year in a row. It's a live performance that Tegan and Sarah did at our one of our stores in the Phoenix market, and we finally got it green lighted, and it's going to be in record stores, indie record stores for this Record Store Day.
That's awesome. What are some of the other ones that?
And also, if you want a comprehensive list and price guide, I just got this week. I got an email from Zia because I'm a part of their mailing list, and it links you up with a whole list of prices and every product that's going to be out. And I thought that was great because now I know how much I need to pull out of the bank, how much I need to go broke on. Some of my picks, honestly, this is kind of a left field one. It's Manic Street Preachers, The Holy Bible. That's an album that really never came out in the U.S., and they're doing a picture disc, 12-inch on that. That's the one that I have to get. That's my most exciting choice. Also, Metallica cassette, Stone Sour, and then D-Generation has a new 10-inch coming out that day as well, which is a big comeback from Jesse Malin and D-Generation, so that's going to be cool.
And this year's ambassador, Dave Grohl, the Foo Fighters have a 10-inch coming out, if I'm not mistaken. Is that?
I believe so. It's interesting because a lot of the things we're getting, some of them we don't even find out until 3 days beforehand if we're going to get them.
Oh, really?
We already had a couple of production issues with some of the big ones we were getting where they informed us, hey, guess what? Sorry, didn't work out. Bad recording. We're going to try next year. But the best and most comprehensive list of what's being put out there this year is at www.recordstoreday.com.
Okay.
It's a good way to see what's out there. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to be getting it, but we are going to try to get as much of this cool stuff as possible.
Yeah. You guys have been getting more and more, because there was a couple of years where you guys didn't. Some of it was just regional, and but you guys have been getting more and more stuff over the last couple of years, and that's really cool.
I have a question, actually, since I've never done this, and maybe someone listening has never gone to Record Store Day. When you go in there looking for that album that you want to see, whatever you're trying to get, how is it set up? Is it set up where it's pretty clear that this is what we have, or do you have to rummage through boxes? How does that work?
Well, we set it up so it's a little bit easier to shop. With the amount of people that are going to be in line, last year we had about maybe 175 people waiting to get in. Mm-hmm. Some people were there as early as like 4 a.m. So it's getting kind of crazy. But the best thing about it is we haven't had any weird incidents. Everyone
Not yet.
seems to find something. Not everyone can find everything they're looking for, but they usually find something that they're there for.
Yeah. That's what it's all about. It's helping support the indie record stores. That's the most important part about it.
Yeah, and in fact, we're going to be talking later on with Reverend Horton Heat, who has a piece of vinyl coming out on Record Store Day on Victory Records, along with Islander.
Yeah, I had that on my list as well. They're
Yeah.
coming out with a 12-inch of their debut
But
album.
I think that's a regional thing, and that may not be at Zia, unfortunately. But we'll see what happens.
Just come in and find out.
Cross my fingers. So, what is your favorite? I mean, tell us your favorite experience with Record Store Day. I mean, what has happened? I've been to all the ones here. I've never seen anything crazy, but I'm sure you've seen a lot of the stuff.
Well, my favorite experience at Record Store Day wasn't even here at Record Store Day. It was at Coachella. We used to set up a big giant tent at Coachella for 5 years in a row.
Yeah.
And I was there all 5 years. And so we were lucky enough to have Record Store Day the day before Record Store Day.
Oh, man.
I was there for that. I was there 3 years ago at Coachella, and Record Store Day landed right then and there, and I was there on that Friday. And so I must have run into you back then.
I saw a video
Exactly.
of Ghost
Yep.
doing an intent or in-store signing at Coachella one year. And I was like, to me, that would have been the event. That would have been the highlight of Coachella for me, because
Yeah.
I don't really care for, the whole scene over there. But doing a Ghost meet and greet was pretty cool.
We had a lot of people there for Ghost, and as it turns out, we're convinced that because they had guest drummers and guest
You think
people.
one of them was Dave Grohl?
Dave Grohl was one of them. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, wow.
Well, even the lead singer is the second singer now. So in between the time since we first saw them, this is like Papa Emeritus 2, and there was one before that. It's a cool idea. It's a great gimmick, put it that way.
It is definitely a great gimmick. Overall, Carl, what is your favorite? By the way, we're speaking with Carl Hartwig from Zia Records here in Las Vegas, the Sahara store. What is your favorite piece of vinyl that you have?
My favorite piece of vinyl, well, it's probably going to be of all time.
Of all time.
Well, I have a original half-speed master of Beatles Abbey Road, which is really cool.
Look at you.
Yeah. I have a couple of Beatles half-speed masters, but I like some of the exclusives that Zia got. We got to have an exclusive with At the Drive-In. We got to have an exclusive vinyl for Pucifer, which was great. And we also had an exclusive last year from a local recording guy who had an exclusive, never-released Waylon Jennings single that we got to feature as a Zia exclusive, which we were really happy about. We hope to deal with him again.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to the Tegan and Sarah because, again, I've met them. They're fabulous. They're really nice, sweet gals, and they really like Zia. And we like to support artists who support Record Store Day and indie record stores. And Zia is really happy to be able to have this exclusive this year.
We're actually lucky to not just have one store. We got a couple, but Zia has 2 stores in town, and we can't go without saying Record City also. They definitely do a service, and they're there with theirs. They got a certain type that they of music that they have, but Zia is kind of the all around store where you can get movies and DVDs and. My kids love going in there and getting the vinyl pops and stuff like that.
I think it's just awesome that it's lasted this way. I think you had a lot of stores. I grew up with a ton. I grew up in Seattle, so I had Easy Street. I had Rubato Records, I grew up at Rubato, and Tower. Even at that point, Tower. And to come to a place like Vegas 8 years ago and find Zia, which I'd never heard of when I was living in Alaska, was just the best news I ever got in my life. Because I've given you guys thousands of albums. You've given me money back and trade in, and it's just a back and forth thing, and I love it, and I never want it to go away.
I actually worked. Tower was my second job here when I moved to Vegas, and it was actually my way into radio because I met my PD at the time. I met him through there, but he didn't know. We didn't know each other, but it's crazy how that works. We didn't have a Tower back home. We had like a lot of the chains. We had Sound Warehouse. We had Warehouse Music. We had, I can't think of the other name of the place that we had. A couple of different
Camelot
chains.
Music.
Camelot,
You had stuff,
Camelot.
the stuff that fell off faster.
Yeah. So, and Zia is more like, kind of like your living room. You know, you can go to your living room and pick out, you know, a vinyl.
And trust the people that are selling it to you that actually are music fans.
Yes.
I mean, you don't work at Zia if you're not a fan of movies or music. I guarantee you.
Well, this is our 35th year, Zia Records. You know, it started in Phoenix, and we've had stores in Phoenix and Tucson. We've only been in Vegas since 2005.
Really? Only that's not a long time.
No, it's really not 10 years this year. And, you know, I used to work for the Virgin Megastore, and it closed down, and Zia Records said, hey, you want to come work for us? I went and checked them out in Phoenix, and it turns out I couldn't be happier to work for any company than for Zia Records.
That's awesome. My favorite piece I have a few favorite pieces from Record Store Days past. Beastie Boys White Label.
Mm-hmm.
I got one of those. Yeah, I was lucky enough to get one of those. And the Buck Owens, the coloring book.
Oh yeah.
With the pliable record.
Oh, wow.
That was a find that someone found in a warehouse, and it turned out to be authentic, and they said, okay, let's sell these things.
Let's put them out, yeah.
That's incredible. It's cool that they can still keep finding stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, you have people looking for it and loving it. You're going to have people finding them.
Last year, Five Finger Death Punch was supposed to put out their picture disc, or 2 years ago, or something like that. It ended up not getting sent, or something happened.
Production delay.
Oh, my gosh, when is this thing going to come out? Then luckily enough, it came out Black Friday.
Yeah, they call Black Friday Record Store Day 2.
Yeah.
And we always have some pretty good exclusives on Black Friday too, but Record Store Day, there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
You get about twice as many people on Record Store Day as you get for Black Friday, but there's always some cool exclusives out there.
Oh yeah. I love the fact that you guys put out a second day. It's just like, oh, thank God.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm looking forward to it.
I don't have to wait a whole nother year. I can wait a few months and get some other cool stuff. So
it's going to be a fun day, and we open at 9 a.m. that day. Most people know us for 10 a.m. We're opening at 9 that day, and we expect to be busy all day.
And what time should someone get there? What time have you seen people line up? You said 4 a.m.?
I usually get there around 7 to do setup, and I've seen people there who said they've been there since 5, and some 4:30, just to get that one exclusive.
Yeah.
And, you know, you don't have to get there that early, but I wouldn't show up at 8:55 and expect to get in right away.
Exactly.
I think you just need a friend who does want to get there at 5 a.m. Big Macs.
And bring him coffee and donuts.
I can do that, and I'll get there at 8:52, and we'll do okay. We'll do okay. I like that idea.
That's the easy way to get a few extra.
Bring extra donuts, though, because the people that you cut in front of, they're going to be pissed.
And we're actually going to do one of a promotion for ourselves that we're going to talk about later, where we're going to give, when somebody sees me out there in line, we're going to give them $100 towards their Volume 11 will, not Zia. So come see me. I'm responsible for the money. We're going to give them $100 towards their Zia Record Store Day purchase. So we're going to do that, and we'll get to the phrase that they need to say to me later on in the podcast. So, Carl, thank you very much for coming out here and spending some time with us, and we will see you on Record Store Day, which is
this coming Saturday.
April 18th?
April 18th, yep.
April 18th.
9 a.m. we open.
There you go. So come out there and come see me with the phrase, and we'll talk about that later on. Carl, thank you very much.
Thanks, Isaac.
Right now it's Lovesick Radio with I'm Me, and right after that I'm going to talk to the Reverend Horton Heat about his Record Store Day exclusive and what he's got coming up this spring.
My mind state irate, driving 90 highway, flying right beside me. Looking in my rear view, my city is in ruins. Never had a family, instead I married music. Turn it up, this is all I got, for the love of God. Everybody prays for the day that they get a spot. I don't want a spot, I just want a shot at a life worth living with what I got. I'm me, that's all the money. I'm me, that's all the fame. I'm me. Beginning's the one thing I can't change. I'll be that 'cause I want to. I'll be at the end of the day. I'll be every morning is the one thing I can't change. Life dreams, pipe dreams, it can be exciting. I could wrestle devils, play with but as a bull, trample all the people and turn into vegetables. Turn it up, this is all I got. Music is my weapon and I gotta take a shot. I'm me, I bleed, I'm everything you see. Graffiti my name in history. I'm me, that's all the money. I'm me, that's all the fame. I'm me, at the beginning is the one thing I can't change. I'm me, not 'cause I want to. I'm me at the end of the day. I'm me, every morning is the one thing I can't change. All that I've done, the places I've been. Now when I ride, I slide right in. The path that I took, so much in the way. Now that I'm here to say, I'm me, that's all the money. I'm me, that's all the fame. I'm me, at the beginning is the one thing I can't change. I'm me, that's all the money. I'm me, that's all the fame. I'm me, at the beginning is the one thing I can't change. I'm me, not 'cause I want to. I'm me at the end of the day. I'm me, every morning is the one thing I can't change.
Big Mex here with Mr. Well, I don't know. You've passed the Mr. and you've gone straight to the Reverend Horton Heat. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, thank you.
So we're talking to you today because one of my favorite holidays of all time, and to me, it's Christmas in April. Or March or whenever it's April this year. The Record Store Day, man. Record Store Day 2015. And you actually have something that's coming out on Record Store Day. You want to talk a little bit about it?
Well, yeah, it's the A side is a song called "It's a Rave Up," and it's kind of an R&B kind of rockabilly thing, a little bit, and it's pretty simple, for since it's Record Store Day and it's 45, we decided to make that one, pretty retro. It's pretty bare bones and basic type of a recording. So, but it's a fun little party dance song. And then the B side is a song called "Let Beer Write This Song," and it's more of a country thing. Retro country thing about how you get drunk and start writing a song and it's great. And then you wake up the next day hungover and you can't remember the song and your guitar's gone.
You know what? That I actually have a question about that. How do you explain if you can, because I've tried to figure it out for years, how the correlation between punk and country come together?
How is you broke up just a little bit there? How what now?
How punk and country kind of blend together, sorts. I've always wondered. I've always had that fascination. I love the bands. Like for instance, you're going to be playing the Lost Highway Festival in Southern California on May 30th. That on that bill, you got Toby Keith, Eli Young Band, Social D, yourself, Lucero, and Lindy Ortega. How does country and punk come together? Because that kind of, it's that weird blend.
Yeah, I know. You know what? Honestly, I'm not really sure how that happened. But it's kind of kooky, I guess. And honestly, I don't know. One of the first bands that comes to mind is a band called Jason and the Scorchers. Back in the 80s, they kind of had quite a bit of success doing it. But sometimes I think the reason is because some country music is more rock and roll than what people call rock and roll.
Yeah, definitely.
It's got fast rhythms and wailing guitar stuff, and so I don't really. That's a good question for me to ponder someday. But we kind of made country music work in a punk rock environment, but we never really went we were never really a full country band, but the country songs that we do have are more, from the authentic era of country, from the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
Once you get about 1970, country music is kind of not something I'm always into.
Yeah, like the Wayland and the Highwaymen and stuff like that.
Yeah, the Highwaymen, or you're talking about the Johnny Cash collaboration with Willie Nelson?
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, was it Wayland in that group also?
No, Waylon Jennings, yep.
Yeah.
Yep, and Chris Christopherson.
Yeah.
They had some great songs.
Yeah, they did.
No, there's some stuff shines through there, but without naming any names, country music is very tedious for me now. I mean, as far as new country artists, I love Dale Watson. I love Wayne Hancock, Junior Brown. But man, all this stuff that, without naming names, where they have these really phony accents and
yeah, I get it.
I mean, it's well,
because I grew up,
a little hard to take.
Yeah, I grew up in Texas, so country there is just like, I mean, it's Willie and the Van Zants. 38 Special was kind of a country type rock and roll thing, kind of like Skinner and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm like 70s and 80s, 60s country I'm cool with. It's that whole 90s, up to now type thing that I kind of like, come on, it's all auto tuned up and you have all kinds of it's kind of phony, actually, to be honest with you. You're right. So but Record Store Day, getting back on the Record Store Day, you got another label mate that's going to have something released also, Islander, because you're on Victory Records now.
Mm-hmm.
And Islander, your label mates, they have a piece of vinyl coming out as well. I mean, do you go out and buy records still, or are you kind of like did you convert over to digital as times went on, or what's your record buying process like?
Well, I like vinyl when I can find it. When I find the stuff that I really like. As far as new stuff, I'm not really that into getting the new artists on vinyl. My vinyl is still just kind of getting the old stuff that's cool and kooky, and the album still plays and sounds good. And
yeah,
but but I do digital. I'm looking at them right now. I got 1,000 CDs I'm looking at in my office here, and I got racks of albums, and then I got a bunch of stuff, the digital, and I like the digital thing. Okay, I'm not picky about. I don't get too picky about the sound qualities and all that stuff, and so
that's kind of odd. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say a lot of artists are really picky about the sound quality. This is the first time I've ever heard an artist say, I'm not too really worried about the the sound quality of it, as long as it's that was just odd that you said that. That's kind of almost refreshing.
Well, if you can hear the song and you can hear what's going on,
yes,
then getting off in the whole audiophile world is something for people that really don't know what music's about.
Yeah,
they're trying to pretend they know what sounds good.
Yeah,
listen, one of my best friends has won 5 Grammys. He can play all types of piano, from classical to boogie woogie to everything, and he's got like a little old fashioned stereo, and it sounds good. Go to his house, it sounds good. That's all you need.
Yep.
So then you go to some rich guy's house, and he's talking about, this is this and that. Well, it's not really necessary, guy, but okay, it's pretty cool, but whatever.
Get that old AM stereo, that old AM radio sound.
Well, now that's not what my friends. It sounds better than that.
Well, I know, like just like old vinyl, you get the cracks and the pops and the hisses and stuff like that. But like that sometimes that old AM radio non-staticky sound, from the 40s and stuff like that, kind of brings back, kind of sounds better with some of that music from that time than having that time music on a nice system now.
Oh, sure, and there's tons of artists that are trying to go for that. Well, not tons, but I mean, that's a big deal, getting a vintage sound. And I try to incorporate a little bit of that into what we do. I don't go full on into the AM radio thing, but getting that kind of old style tube distortion, and oh yeah, I'm all about that. So the sound quality and where I'm going with it, the audio thing, it is important to me. But and all that stuff, it gets a little lost because what could get lost when you're talking about all of that is the song, the song and the performance. Which at the end of the day, if I hear a great song, it can be through my little Bluetooth one speaker thing, and it can affect me.
Yeah.
Just as much as listening to it on a $5,000 stereo system.
Exactly. No, I get your point exactly. So outside of like country music, what other new artists do you listen to? Who are you a fan of? Some new artists, whether it's rock or R&B or whatever.
Well, in all honesty, new artists, I just don't have time for a lot of new artists. But my favorite new ones is my current kind of favorite new guy is this guy J.D. McPherson.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
And I've known one of the guys in his band. Man, I've known him for 25 years or 30 years or something. So I kind of know these guys, but J.D. McPherson is great, and he gets a good facsimile of that vintage sound. His vocal style especially sounds much like it was recorded in 1958 or something. Okay. It's really cool.
Yes,
but he kind of mixes in a new thing with it, So that's in my world, that's kind of what I go for too. I don't want to be a museum piece that's just getting exactly a 1953 sound.
Yeah.
But I like to incorporate those types of things in with more modern stuff, kind of blend it.
Yeah.
So, but there's that. There's a guy that died a couple of years ago, but he was still a young guy. But his name was Nick Kern, and he does recordings. He did recordings that were a lot like that, and he kind of even sounds even older. I mean, some of Nick's albums when he was 25 years old, he sounded like Little Richard in 1956 or something, and the recordings sounded like that too, and it's really crazy because those recordings were all done on a digital hard disk recorder. They weren't even done on analog tape, and it's great. They're great,
Wow.
So.
Well,
but it's all comes down to the feel, the sound, and the feel, and the emotion. That's the stuff that's important to me and most musicians. I think.
And to get your sound, what are you playing these days, as far as your rigs and stuff like that?
Well, my guitar is I've been playing a Gretsch 6120 for a long time, and then they started making a Gretsch 6120 RHH for Reverend Horton Heat. So they make they make a model for me. And I've been using those guitars, one in particular for, I guess, about 10 years now.
Oh, wow.
And then I always ran through the same Fender Super Reverb amp that was kind of from the mid to late 70s.
Yeah.
And I was really used to that amplifier. I still have it, but then Gretsch brought me a Gretsch Executive amp that sounded very, very similar, except it was brand spanking new, and it had a little bit more clarity in the high end, which was one of the things that was kind of lacking from my vintage amps. And so it's a vintage sound with just a little bit more clarity. So
well, that's good.
And but yeah. So that's basically what I do. I run into that amp and crank it up to 10 and let it rip.
No 11 on that one, huh?
No 11 on that one, but it's a low wattage amp, and so it breaks up really nice when you crank it up loud, and
Well, I hope to see you in Vegas here soon. I haven't seen any dates for here, but because that's where we're based out of. But again, you're playing May 30th at the Lost Highway Festival out in SoCal. That's out in San Bernardino, if I'm not mistaken, with Toby Keith, Eli Young Band, Social D, Lucero, and Lindy Ortega. And then again, you have an Ink and Iron Festival out in Nashville on August 6th through the 9th that you're going to be playing out there as well.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, we've got quite a few good festivals going this year.
That's
so
good.
We're playing Coachella here the next few weeks.
With are you going to with ACDC?
Well, so.
Yeah, that's weird that they're playing that festival also, but good for them, you know.
Yep, we're doing all that. So good. Yeah, there's a lot of festivals this year.
All right. Well, thank you for taking the time out, sir. And Record Store Day, you have your Victory Records release coming out. Make sure you go pick it up. And there's going to be 1,700 red. It's on colored vinyl, red, and then 150 of them are going to be in pink. So hopefully you get one of the rarer ones. And thanks again for stopping in.
Well, thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, you take it easy.
Okay, cool. Thanks, man. Bye-bye.
Right, bye.
Darkness is talking, silence is talking, horrors are walking, making going crazy, comfort is tearing, the skin you are wearing, the mind isn't caring, things are getting crazy, that's why it calls too loud on your walls, can't stop withdrawals, bloodlust, touch you cry, see dust to me.
Podcast on
volume11music.com.
You need to have that a little bit more smoother. Say it again.
volume11music.com.
Nah, it sounds too uppity. Sounds too like you got a stick in your ass. volume11music.com.
Volume volume11music.com.
No, that sounds like you've been castrated.
Volume11music.com.
There you go. Perfect. There you go. Who was that we just listened to?
That was First Class Trash right out of Vegas. Yeah, well, come on. I can have a little bit of personal stake in some of this stuff.
That's fine.
That was a song called Flesh Crawl. It's off Cutthroat Cocktail.
And those guys got a show coming up.
They got a few shows coming up, and that's why I want to play them this week. They are playing with our very own Otherwise, coming up on the 17th at Fremont Country Club.
Shout out to the Patricks and Carboni and Gainsford and Pugh and all those guys.
All those guys
over there.
The First Class also has a show coming up with Cage 9 and Mad Life at Vamped on the 23rd. That's a free show. And finally, they just announced another show with a very hot up-and-coming and been around for a while up-and-coming band called September Morning, and that's on the 25th at Adrenaline.
And we're probably going to talk to September Morning here pretty soon and see what they're up to.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. And before that was the Reverend Horton Heat talking about his Record Store Day exclusive. There you go. And if you listen to it, he plays some. He's got his own signature Gretsch. Like Gretsch is, I like the sound of those guitars. Like it has that very monotone, the mono sound to it.
Absolutely. I mean, Reverend Horton Heat has his own sound just to begin with, and for that tone to come out of those guitars for him, he's cornered that market.
Yeah, definitely. So what's going on over there on your little notebook?
I got my little notebook here. I jot stuff down throughout the week because otherwise Mexico's, I don't know what to talk about.
You're such a
So
geek,
I take care of that part for us. I'm going to start it out. Let's see. Should I start it out with a rant or a rave? I'm going to start out with a rave.
Okay.
As you know, Daredevil just debuted on Netflix.
Oh, yes.
And I got to tell you, I was excited about this one, and I am one of the few who actually enjoyed the director's cut of the Affleck version of Daredevil. I didn't think it was as bad as a lot of people made it out to be. But this new series, 13 episodes, is a nice TV MA, and you're getting to see righteous kills. It's MA, righteous kills, and a little bit of a colorful language.
And some side boobage.
So far.
It
could be full boobage very soon.
Where are you at?
Episode 3. We're both on 3.
Oh, okay.
Or both.
Come on. Bro, we got to do theater of the mind here. We got to let the people know that we can't let people know we've already talked. This has to be a natural thing.
Oh, this is very natural, but I'm just assuming that you might be on episode 3. You just said you're on episode 3.
Continue, please.
No, I don't know. I might have a stop point right here. But going back to what I was saying until I was so rudely interrupted, it's cool. You have a new actor in there, and I think his name, Max, do you know the guy's name?
I have no idea. His name is Daredevil.
He's I think a British guy, but he really plays the role very, very, very well.
Foggy Nelson. Who do I know that?
Eldon Henson. He was on Final Destination, maybe?
No, he wasn't? Probably, but he was in something else. I want to say he was
recently.
He was a child actor.
He's been around for a really long time. I know that. It's right there. Idle Hands. I think he was in that.
Idle Hands.
Classic movie.
Boom.
Classic
right
movie.
There.
One of the best horror comedies I think that nobody really knows about.
That was a good one.
I might watch that tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna switch the topic now. We talked a little bit about Daredevil. I want to rant a little bit now.
Please.
There's this band. I've been a fan of them for quite some time. Actually, got to see them on a small stage on one of the few times they played Vegas. Halestorm.
Oh.
Halestorm. They're a good band, talented band. Nice group of people. Really nice group of people. They actually are. They just put out, or putting out in the next couple of days, a new album. It's called Into the Wildlife.
Okay.
And I got to tell you, I hate to say it, but it's terrible.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. There's a time when a band doesn't quite have their sound down, and I think that their last album was fantastic for the most part, except for a little bit of bogged down by slow stuff. But this one is so all over the place. It's 15 tracks of 15 different versions of not very good rock, and I am really disappointed by that.
Now, explain to me this, Jamie. What is it with them that they don't get a lot of radio play anymore? At least not in this market. They don't even fucking come to Vegas anymore. What is with that?
The last time they played here was opening up for a country guy at the Cosmo.
Eric Church is phenomenal, by the way. Great.
And
great
I'll tell you,
artist,
I think that's where Halestorm wants to go, is that country rock sound, the outlaw country. And they tried on this album to really not a very good result. They also have a producer who is a country producer doing the album. And I think the influence of Lizzie Hale wanting to do her own solo stuff is also come into play. And if you've ever dealt with an album where the singer wants to be solo, yet they do it as the band project, you have a really schizophrenic album.
Yeah.
Speechless. Mex is speechless right now.
Speechless.
But I was really disappointed with what I was hearing. And, just to touch a base on another song I don't like is the last Sick Puppies album put out that song that had a kind of a, I don't even know what you call it, but it had that kind of like that Indian, quote-unquote, tribal rhythm to it, and it was just really stupid.
Yeah.
And it became a single. They have the exact same rhythm style on a song. Terrible.
That's too bad. That's way too bad. What's up, Lizzie? Come on, baby.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens there. They won't come to Vegas anyway, so they can't get mad at us. But, Max, do you want to say anything about Rock in Rio?
No.
Just in case we get to go?
Okay, I'll say one thing. Fuck Rock in Rio. That's all I'm going to say.
I guess we're definitely not going now.
I am not going. But I'm not a big fan of, and maybe it was me thinking of how the crowd is in Brazil. I'm not a fan of like 300,000 people, dude. I'm not like that. I don't like people fucking rubbing up on me unless it's a hot Brazilian
I was
chick.
going to say, that's all you talk about.
But I'm just not a fan, you know? To me, I want to be able to take my kids. And not because you see my kids.
Yeah.
They belong at something like that.
Absolutely.
Because they're not your average 10, 11-year-old kids. That's why I'm going to be out of Vegas. I was hoping to be out of Vegas that whole time that it's here. It's not going to happen. I have to come back on the 7th.
I was going to actually stand maybe on the sidewalk because we just passed it the other day. We were driving over to get some equipment, and we saw the actual grounds that they're going to have it at.
They're going to close down.
They're going to close it down, but I mean, I don't really listen. If you're listening, Rock in Rio, which I know you are, you guys needed to cater to us a little bit more for this inaugural fest.
You need to be sucking our dicks.
You do. You're treating us locals, the people who support this whole scene,
like chumps,
like outsiders. You're charging too much.
You.
Come on. I mean, $175 for a 1-day pass, $250 for a 2-day. There's something wrong in the math there. Again, I'm really disappointed. I was looking forward to this whole thing, and I hope you get it right in a couple years when it comes back. But I do hope you listen to everybody's words. Well, they built that whole thing. Also, you better use that place for a lot of concerts coming up. Why is Warped Tour not here? It should be there. All these different things that should be playing there. Announce the Slipknot show, please. Come on, let's get moving.
Quit being fucking dicks.
Damn. All right, so I'm going to try the volume11music.com. How'd that sound?
I'm very ornery right now.
I can tell.
Can you tell?
I can tell.
Fuck Rock.
I don't know what happened. He was kind of.
I was cool in the beginning. I was happy with the Record Store Day. The Rev interview was cool.
I think the Rock and Rio thing did it,
the
didn't
Rock
it?
and Rio just
and
fucking
Lizzie
put me
Hale.
over the edge.
Well, because see, there's two reasons for the whole Lizzie Hale thing. He doesn't really want to have spite towards her when he's thinking about her, so that's a problem.
F her.
That's spit, not spite.
Never mind. I shouldn't have said that.
You shouldn't have. We can always,
like she's gonna
we can fix
listen.
That. You never know. That would be the one time that she listens.
Right.
Sorry, Lizzie.
Who's this guy? Maybe I should meet him.
One more thing I want to mention. Adelitas Way. That's another Vegas friends of ours. They are playing a show at the Double Barrel this coming Thursday, the 16th.
Something like that, yeah.
And it's a free show from what I've heard. And I've heard rumors that it's going to be an extra long show, meaning that we might get to hear some of those songs we haven't heard in a long time by those guys. So come out. Give some support to our
Show
friends.
Some love.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are some of the 4 nicest guys I know. So
quit being tight asses and fucking go show some love. Spend some fucking money, you cheap bastard.
Free show. That means you can buy a drink.
Off about the Rock and Rio thing. See,
well, I think you should cancel your trip and be here so we can pick it. Let's pick it.
Why wouldn't they ask Adelitas Way to play Rock and Rio?
Again, I'm not that concerned that they didn't ask any local bands because we do get some love here from our locals. But here's my big concern, and thank you for bringing this up. What do we have here every year? We have EDC. It's the biggest electronic music festival in the world pretty much, and it brings in millions of people. Okay, so what does Rock in Rio do? They bring in an entire electronic stage, not just for the rock weekend, but for the pop weekend. Do we need more electronic music? I like it okay, but no, not at Rock in Rio. That's a spot for 5 to 10 bands you could have brought in and made us all happy.
I'm shaking my head right now.
Yep, SMH.
SM-fucking-H, bro.
Damn. Okay, one last thing, Max. You're going to reveal it. We just talked about Record Store Day. This whole podcast, we have a secret phrase that you're going to have to stay to a certain big mix at Zia Records on Saturday the 18th.
You will have to find me and come up to me.
First one.
The first person. And we're only going to reveal it here, but we're going to send out for the ones that signed up through our V11 newsletter. We're going to send it out there. Okay?
First.
Tomorrow it'll get sent, or tonight at midnight it'll get sent out. The password that you want to come and tell me, the secret phrase, whatever you want to call it, that you're going to come and say to me when you see me at the record store on Sahara, Zia Records on Sahara, Tutti fucking Fruity.
Tutti fucking Fruity. That's what you want to say. We're not going to tell you what time we're going to be there, so you need to plan accordingly to look for us.
It's going to be before 9 o'clock, before doors open.
Well, definitely before 9.
You have to come find me before doors open, okay? Doors open at 9 o'clock. Tutti fucking Fruity, you come up to me, you say that, $100 towards your record day exclusive. There are rules and regulations. If you just go to our Facebook page, you will find the rules and regulations where the picture of the record store day ad is at.
I think one of those rules is you must be topless. Is that one we just added on the bottom?
No. You must. No, we can't say that.
We cannot say that.
We cannot say that because then we can get sued, and we don't have any money because we don't even fucking get paid.
How can we get sued?
We can get sued for anything.
That'd be cool. We'd get some press.
No, not
okay.
that kind of
Never mind. You must wear a top.
And you must, yes, please wear clothes if you're a guy. Anyway, we're out of here. Thanks for listening, and we're gonna try to be mobile next week.
Yes, we're going to be traveling.
From now on, we're going to be traveling. No more in studio. If you got a bar, if you got a tattoo shop, if you got, by the way, we're planning a 420 podcast.
Yes, we are.
I don't know if you partake in 420. I haven't partaken in quite some time. And now that I'm no longer married, I'm partaking.
Unfortunately, I will not be partaking, and I'm putting this out there because I have that type of job. So, anyways, but I will be the innocent bystander.
That'd be cool. You'll be the one taking pictures.
I probably will. I can do that.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Sweet.
One last thing before we sign out on this episode, we're going to go out with a song this week, something a little different. This is a band. They are actually a band out of, I want to say, Portugal, and they are called Kill Us.
They actually kept reaching out to us. They kept posting on our page, and I was like, I got to check that out. Their look was cool, and it got to the point of me saying, fuck, man, okay, I'll check them out. Checked him out. Fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's the thing. We like that. So we're not going to, Big Mex was ignoring it for a couple weeks. We're not going to let that happen again. I scolded him. But anyways, this is a song called Feel the Monster. This is off their 4th album with the same name. And it had nothing to do with Big Mex, by the way. So if you like stuff like Nine Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson, Depeche Mode, Dope, you're going to dig this.
I'm going to start saying that. That's going to be my fucking...
Feel the Monster. When we get our T-shirts out, Feel the Monster will be a special edition.
I'm going to start telling the chicks, Feel the Monster. Love it.
Disappointment.
Later. Bye.